Okay, so this is like kind of a test one again, but this one I'm actually going to upload too. I don't know why I put my hood up. I guess I feel better. So this one's going to be about... that truck go behind me. This one's going to be about kind of two real topics. One, kind of blending your mechanics into your descriptions and stuff, and excuse me, and like utilizing mechanics that don't come with descriptions baked in, and then at the same time, like kind of blending classes and other features that don't necessarily mesh, and just like trying to figure out how to do it. So as far as blending non-descriptive mechanics, something like the Gloomstalker Ranger's Dread Ambusher, which, if you don't know what that is, on the first round of combat, you can move an extra 40 feet, Jesus Christ, an extra 10 feet. You can move an extra 10 feet on your first turn of combat, and if you take the attack action on that first turn of combat, you can make one additional weapon attack, and if that attack hits, it does an additional D8 damage. It ends up being a little clunky because it's only that third attack. Like, you only do an extra D8 if that extra attack lands. Instead, I would probably word it a little differently, like you get an extra weapon attack, and the first weapon attack that you land on this turn does an extra D8, something like that, but that's not that important, especially for this. So the only descriptive language that actually comes with is just you're adept at ambushing your foes. That's it. So how do you, so all that really... In combat, most of the time, that's just okay, because you just say, alright, I'm going to take the attack action, and because it's the first round, I get 3 attacks instead of 2. There's no narrative flavor there. So, for Henich specifically, my Lizard Folk Ranger, who is a Gloomstalker, the way I kind of word it is, because he's a Lizard Folk, he spends a lot of his time standing completely still, as lizards and reptiles tend to do. They sit completely still until they move in a sudden burst of movement. Like a crocodile will just kind of sit there and then it bursts forward really fast in a straight line. They don't turn very well. Crocodiles are not good at Tokyo drifting. But so the way that kind of ends up narratively flavored is just Henich is so fast in this initial burst, he has enough time to get in an extra attack, and then maybe flavor enemies are still very slightly taken aback or surprised, like you can flavor it that way. Or the level 11 feature that Henich doesn't have yet, Stalker's Flurry. When you miss with an attack, you can take 1 extra weapon attack per turn. This only works once, so you can't just, if you miss, you get another chance. If you miss, you get another chance. It doesn't work that way. It's just you get to re-roll. You essentially get to retry 1 attack. So, same kind of thing. This character is so quick. He can turn a small, the opponent dodging an attack into another attack opportunity. But doing things like this requires a little bit of work on your part, on the player's part, to really think about how this could be really described. Then similarly, the features Favored Foe and Hunter's Mark, those also have no descriptive properties. It's just you designate a target as your favored foe or mystically mark it as your quarry, which means nothing. Where does this extra damage come from that you do? This extra D6 of damage? Is it just, something I kind of prefer is this, hones your hunter's instinct a little bit. So you just get a little bit sharper and are better able to pick out weak spots, that kind of thing. Something else that I think is a really cool idea is that nature kind of nudges your weapon attacks into more vulnerable areas, or nature directly contributes to the damage you inflict. Like every sword strike you do, after you make it, it widens slightly, inflicting extra damage. Or you sink an arrow into the target, it comes to a stop, and then nature pushes it in an inch, causing that extra damage. Stuff like that. But that's all up to the individual player, and it's not something that you really have to worry about either. You can just leave mechanics as mechanics. They don't have to be thought out. Where's the turkeys? There were turkeys at this intersection one time. Then otherwise, like, getting weird class and race combinations to work sometimes is a little goofy. And I was thinking about a classic kind of warlock multi-class combination is you grab 1 or 2 levels of sorcerer just to have access to some simple first level spell slots, and that'll really help you right away because you have more spell slots to use. But later on, like when you're higher level and all your warlocks, all your pact slots are like level 4, you'll still have those first level slots from sorcerer that you can spend on stuff like shield or whatever. So that's really, like, it's easy to do that and keep those around. But otherwise, that goes towards the coffee lock combo, which is really goofy and like super exploitative, but I don't really care about that. In fact, actually, for this combination, I'd probably grab Bard instead. If you're just grabbing it for first level slots, you could grab... When do Bards get expertise? Level 2? Whatever. Whenever they take it, grab some expertise, but mostly play a Warlock. So, I was thinking about an undead Warlock with the Draconic Bloodline Sorcerer to grab the unarmored defense feature from him, so you can have a higher AC. But if you're going to merge those two things specifically, how do you get that flavor to work? And I can think of 2 simple ways. First, your character is a Draconic Sorcerer. That's what their bloodline is. That's like what their family is. That's what they should be. But maybe they're so impatient and arrogant or whatever that they feel like, or rather they don't want to wait to acquire the magical power over time. They want it now. So they become a warlock. They seek out some undead creature that can bestow them power, and they get it that way. Or alternatively, you can wrap both classes up together and have your warlock patron be a Draco Lich or a Demi Draco Lich, what I feel works a little bit better as a patron, because they're more ephemeral, they can show up wherever, that kind of thing. So by taking that class as your patron, you can grab a Draconic Bloodline Sorcerer without it changing the flavor much, and you get a highly specific undead patron for your form of dread. And what I was thinking for this character specifically is, like, for your form of dread, half of your face is wrapped in a draconic skull, horns twist up, fangs twist down, jaw wraps from under. So you've got like kind of like the Bleach Bankai thing, whatever the fuck that was, where they get like half a mask or some shit, and then the flesh falls away from your right arm, and the bones elongate and protrude into a giant draconic limb. And like, to do Eldritch Blast, you need that limb, and you pull the dragon jaw down and it fires your Eldritch Blast out. Something like that. Just real quick, ways to wrap flavor up in and around themselves. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, test video, about 10 minutes, works out. See how this works.